Mrs. Armitage, Queen of the Road. One morning, Mrs. Armitage came downstairs and found a letter on the mat. She read it aloud to her faithful dog, Breakspear. It said, "Dear Anastasia, because I am buying a new motorcycle, I shall not need my car anymore. I would like you to have it as a present. It is in the street outside, and here are the keys. With love, from your Uncle Cosmo." That was a good present. She is reading the letter. There was the car. "It doesn't look very exciting, Breakspear," said Mrs. Armitage, "but we'll give it a try." They climbed into the car and off they went. They had not been going long when they went over a hole in the road. Boing, 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 boing. All the hubcaps fell off. Mrs. Armitage got out to look at the damage. "Hubcaps," she said. "Who needs them?" And she took them to the scrap heap and off they went. But as they were going round the corner by the vinegar works, scrunch! The mudguard was ruined. Mrs. Armitage got out to look at the damage. "Mudguard," she said. "Who needs them?" She took them off to the scrap heap and on they went. They were backing out of the scrapyard when scrang! The front bumper had caught on an old bedstand. Uh-oh. Mrs. Armitage got out to look at the damage. "Bumpers," she says. "Who needs them?" She threw the bumpers on the scrap heap and off they went. They were on their way past a supermarket when a lorry backed into the street. Scrunch! Right into the bonnet. Mrs. Armitage got out to look at the damage. "The bonnet," she said. "Who needs it?" She took it off to the scrap heap and off they went. There was quite a traffic jam outside the new building site. See all the cars? A big crane was moving heavy blocks of concrete to and fro. To and fro it went, to and fro, up and down, when suddenly, what's going to happen? Crunch! Mrs. Armitage got out to look at the damage. "A roof," she said. "Who needs it?" And she took it off to the scrap heap and on they went. "Breakspear," said Mrs. Armitage, "I think it's time to get out of this town." They went down a side road into the country. All about them were trees and the birds were singing. Trees. There they are, driving around. "Breakspear," said Mrs. Armitage, "this is blissful." Quite nice little drive in the countryside. But the road got bumpier and bumpier. Oh, ba-doing, 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 gunk. All the doors fell off, and the boot as well. Mrs. Armitage got out to look at the damage. "All this stuff, Breakspear," she said. "Who needs it? Let's throw it all on the scrap heap and be on our way." But at that moment there was a roar. It was Uncle Cosmo on his new bike. His friends were there too, Gizzy and Lulu, Ferdinando and Smudge. They were out for a day's drive. There they are. They all gathered round to look at Mrs. Armitage's machine. Look. Wow, said Gizzy. Where did you get it? It's fantastic. We're off to the Crazy Duck Cafe for a game of billiards and a can of banana fizz, said Uncle Cosmo. You must come too. But first, have this leather jacket, said Smudge. I've grown too big to wear it. And you must each have a collar, said Lulu. I don't need 3. And have one of our bendy masts, said Gizzy. We don't need both of them. And let me give you a motor horn, said Ferdinando. I don't need all 5 of them. And it's always good to have a motor horn. Off they rolled to the Crazy Duck Cafe, and out in front, with her faithful dog Breakspear, was Miss Armitage, Queen of the Road. There they are, having a can of banana fizz. The end.